We are surrounded by colours. They are one of the first things we learn to identify and name. We all have a favourite one, and they act as tools for representing identity, both cultural and artistic. But what do we really know about them? Do you know why Pantone colour classification exists? How the colour pink affects us? Or why orange didn't exist before the 15th century? Find out in this video. Did you know some colours were considered luxuries because of the process required to make them? Ultramarine blue was manufactured using lapis lazuli, a semi-precious stone that could only be found in the mountains of Afghanistan. Due to its rarity, its price competed with that of gold, which is why it was reserved for the most important subjects in a painting. It is said that Michelangelo left the entombment unfinished because he was unable to obtain the paint, and that Johannes Vermeer left his family in debt after buying it. Another example is Tyrian purple dye, which was extracted from a secretion produced by a type of sea snail. To manufacture a gram, 9,000 mollusks were needed, which was why its price was so high. Isaac Newton is credited for the law of universal gravitation, infinitesimal calculus, the laws of motion, and the colour wheel, that artists still use today to make their palettes. In his experiments, Newton reached the conclusion that red, yellow, and blue were the primary colours from which all others originate, and he was the first to represent this with a colour wheel. The founder of Pantone, Lawrence Herbert, worked at a print company during the 60s, and his day-to-day consisted of trying to replicate the colours that his clients were looking for. Brands were interested in keeping their colours consistent, which was difficult since they weren't standardised. That's why Herbert developed a colour identification system, creating a universal language of colours through numbers. Baker Miller Pink is used to reduce aggression. According to studies conducted in prisons, it helps slow down the heart rate and the breath. About 1,500 centres in the United States contain rooms in this colour, and clothing brands use it to sell calming sweatshirts. Many people associate pink with girls and blue with boys, but before World War II, these colours were completely interchangeable. In fact, over the course of history, pink has often been associated with masculinity, since it derives from red, and blue, which is considered more delicate, has been associated with femininity. It is believed that the rigid separation that exists nowadays is simply a marketing ploy. Before the end of the 15th century and the beginning of the 16th, the colour orange as we know it didn't exist in Europe. Or rather, we should say that it did exist, but it didn't have a name. It was simply known as reddish yellow. That changed when Portuguese traders brought the first orange trees from Asia to Europe. The Sanskrit word naranja became naranja in Spanish, laranja in Portuguese, and orange in English, and it ended up being associated with the colour retroactively.